Our nation and our county are facing difficult economic times which require tough choices. County Manager Randall H. Reed's Alternative Futures project is addressing the issue head-on by re-examining how county services are delivered, what county services are delivered, and by asking citizens what they think should be done to make county government better, more efficient, and more sustainable. To this end, recently 2 workshops were held in which citizens participated in a budgeting exercise that let them be county commissioners for a day.
This is the first meeting. We're going to ask you to please cooperate with us and work with us in a sense of a spirit of community, that we might do some questions and answers, give you some budget information, and actually go through playing a game which we've spent a lot of time trying to work on, which will actually pretty much reproduce what a commissioner has to do.
OMB Director Suzanne Gable gave a brief overview of the budget.
Just quick, talking about why we do a budget. It is the process where we allocate our resources. It is also the opportunity for the county commission to affect policy that we have for the organization and the community.
Manager Reed then asked citizens to break out into small groups to discuss 2 questions.
The first, I'd like to ask, and if you talk among yourselves, we're going to ask for a report from each group, but would you look at what do you love most about living in Alachua County?
I think we agreed that we like the cultural and medical access, the facilities, and then there was a whole lot of disagreement about everything else that we do or don't like.
That was one thing that came up, that everybody was very pleased about, having the openness in this forum to even have this kind of availability to talk to our local government.
We enjoyed the pristine areas, the natural areas, the rural activities, as well as the University of Florida.
Access to health care is important to us. Educational opportunities and the natural environment.
Like most people, we like the culture. It's based upon the university, but things like the HIP and the Gainesville Community Playhouse.
Our group liked the youthful feeling that Alachua County has, and the diversity that we have with our many different cities, how they have a unique small town feel.
The people who lived here for all their lives and for generations.
There were a lot of cultural and intellectual amenities in Alachua County that a lot of other counties in this area of the South don't have.
It's a county that's very transparent, that encourages this type of meeting, and arts and culture.
Clean air and clean water relative to the rest of the country. You'd be surprised how well we do here.
Not being South Florida was another big one.
Question is, with the current financial climate and changes, what do you fear most?
More people losing jobs, more people losing access to health care.
Massive job losses throughout the county.
We're concerned that the government, you guys, are not trying to control expense.
We're not prepared to be more self-sufficient. We recognize the need to be, but we know that we as a countywide community are not prepared.
That our priorities would be discarded for our necessities.
The crime, what happens with, the housing industry gets worse, more people lose their homes, etc. What does that do to crime in our community?
What if we closed down our parks and stopped educating our children? We'd end up with depressed, stupid kids.
Participants then formed new groups and were handed $50,000 in play money. The money was color-coded to represent each of the county's core services. The assignment was to cut $5,000 from the total budget. During the exercise, county staff members, portraying a variety of special interest groups, lobbied the participants to convince them not to cut their programs. To simulate real life, the group was thrown some curveballs.
Attention, I forgot to tell you that you cannot cut the medical examiner or the juvenile detention center. They're mandated services, so you cannot cut those. We just got a call from Governor Chris' office, and he said that revenues are down even more than he thought, so you need to reduce your budget another $1,000. So I'm coming around to get $6,000 in about 5 minutes. Sorry.
Each group then reported on their budget cuts.
We reduced, way down the bottom, the enhanced bus service, poverty reduction by 1. And then in the orange section, the public safety section, we reduced ambulance services by 1 and jail management by 1.
in the yellow section, we took most of the cuts out of sidewalks and development planning and review. Sorry, Jerry. Where's Jerry? Under the blue section, we took some cuts out of land management, actually clean water and energy conservation, all of those things.
Under the green section, we took 2 units out of the CRA for $400. We shut down the fairgrounds for this year only.
We kept everything in environmental stewardship. We took 2 units of public infrastructure, 4 units of CRA, and 1 unit of the Fairgrounds Industrial Park Development.
1 unit from Health Department, 3 units from Ambulance Services, and 1 from Jail Management.
2 units, I'm sorry, from the ambulance service and 1 from road patrol units.
Under public safety, under jail management, we reduced that by 1 unit, which is $2,000, thinking that some of the people who are currently in the jail could, under supervision, enter a jail diversion program. And then we also increased the regional bus service by 1 unit, or $200, which means we come out at $6,000.
We also took 2 units out of the county road paving program, but there was a contractor that came by and talked to us, and he indicated that by cutting that out sometimes, we might actually have to pay more for down the road because of the increased damages. We painfully took $1,000 out of the fire station.
Affordable housing program, we took 2 units from that, and we did that partly because the situation that we're in with the economy right now is because people bought houses who maybe shouldn't have bought houses that were as expensive, and there's federal funding available for that.
The development planning review budget, because of the lack of development that's happening right now, we cut 2 units out of that and at $200, and we added those 2 units, 1 each, to the clean water program and the energy conservation initiatives area.
Afterwards, citizens and staff commented on the workshops.
I learned a lot about the county budget and the budgeting system that I didn't know before, and I got a good idea of how they actually deal with these issues administratively. That was very, very interesting.
Everyone in the group, the entire audience, was thinking along the same kinds of lines.
You cannot complain unless you're part of the solution. If you're going to complain, you better have a good answer for the questions that you're raising, because nobody else does, or you wouldn't be complaining.
It was more fun to think about how to add money than to subtract money in some of the programs that we really do need.
I thought this was a really interesting example of, there's a quote, I can't remember who said it, that don't tell me your priorities, show me your budget, and then I'll tell you what your priorities are. And I think that's a good thing to live by.
I think it is very useful. I think, as the county manager said, they're going to need to road trip it, because a lot of people don't get to go to things very far from their home. Their daily life with work and childcare and dealing with home may not allow them to come to these kind of things.
I really appreciate the fact that we had citizens that come out on a Monday night to talk about budget and what they love about their community and what they're afraid of. And I think some of those questions really got to the heart of the issue of community here.
We're planning to open this up to the general public now that we've worked out a few of the bugs from the comments that we've gotten. And we'll open them up, and we'll do another 2 or 3 sessions to the public over the next 30, 45 days. So look for that in newspaper ads, Channel 12, county website,